this was one of the project at Qbol where we were doing a user engagement through emails, as in the transactional emails, which are like system generated and stuff. So what I did was, just just see what goes in the industry, what is the loophole right now, and what do we need to do as a matured, a SaaS product as such. So right now, what was happening was that the open rates from the transactional email was just 0.02%. Like people used to just click once and coming to the product was just 0.02, even though we were sending a lot of emails at one point of time, right? Ideally, in any SaaS, average SaaS product, there's around at least 2.2% of clicks
Yeah.
to turn to, and the transaction email, that's how it works, right? So I used to write the scope and like what kind of things that we need, what kind of emails that we're going to impact now, and how do we make a loop as in retention and all the stuff.
Yeah.
So and then like the idea was to come out from that those templates where right now Qbol was doing like, okay, just send it as a normal email where the links were not highlighted, or there was no certain CTAs that were highlighted at that point of time, like as in it was just random, or not even random, it's just a text message where we just used to tell you about the system, and you need to search for the link in the whole paragraph that where you need to click. So those things that we already identified, and it was like, okay, we need some clear CTAs around it, and what are the engagements that we can do, the copy that we wanted to write, a new voice and tone that we were working on, and all those things. So I used to write all of this, uh, like the measuring success and stuff. This was like how I said, we need to have some kind of metrics going around since the first day of when you're doing the design, right? So I used to sit with my product manager, and he used to help me out with, okay, what are the right things to look at when you're working on an email project overall, and what is the like right measurements that, or the metrics that you're looking for, the problem that you're solving. Now there are two kind of metrics that can happen, right? So this is how I used to write, right? And like, yeah, okay. So cool. So now, what I did in this project was basically uh, also educate the rest of the company that what exactly is going outside, right? So first is was to understand what kind of categories that goes in a particular SaaS product or enterprise product altogether, right? So and I basically took out these categories like activation emails, welcome onboarding messages. Then we had activity notifications, report and dashboards. Like these are the category of emails that is basically used by the industry right now, right? As in any SaaS product or any enterprise product, to have engagement, to have retention, and all those things, right? Like finish current task and slash almost done email, or next steps that you need to do. So there's a lot of back and forth that was going over here. So these also had a category in itself where we categorized these emails into a subcategory again. So new
Right.
user activity engagement, then in product activity engagement, then there was this whole thing when the user is not coming back, you actually send out an email, oh, okay, we are missing you or something like that, right? So all those emails, how does this come up as a system, right?
Right.
So so I created a basic flow chart where how does the ideal world would look like when the user is coming in for the first time and there's a trial period going on. So at that point of time, how it would look like, right? So this was like, you get an activation email and then you onboard him, explain him like, these are the links that you can go through, these are a couple of tutorials that you can check to set up all of this. And like after that, once you have run couple of queries, now what you can do, so all those retention stuff that can go. So let's say if the user has turned as a customer, let's say he has done with the 30-day trial period. Now what are the other next steps that you can do? Other than that, if he doesn't come, and if the user doesn't come, and basically you need to go back and throw him an email to come back, and basically this is what you can do, all the stuff, basically educating them from the right point of time. The next point was, since there was this huge system of transactional email which was already built, uh, how does the what does the current state look like right now, right? So there were a couple of copies of emails that was going to the team as well as to the user. So these were like a couple of emails that were already going. So again, categorizing them at one place. What are the activity notifications that were going and all those things, right? Now, what are the loopholes where we can push in these categories? Let's say the milestone emails. After these like let's say execution of a command for the first time when you do. After that, you commented on a query. Now there's this milestone that you have achieved, right? You have done all of this. You have used this part of the system, and now you have sent another milestone email, uh, basically where you're cheering up the user. Okay, you know what? You are actually exploring the product.
Right.
So out of which, like this is how I kind of portrayed the whole system, since to make them understand that what exactly the system looks like right now, and keeping this as a base, how do we do or how do we go next about it? So the next point was, since we had, like a solid design system that has come up, then we thought like this is the right time to actually, talk about the product voice and tone across the board, like from the marketing segment to how the internally, how the product would talk and all those things, right? So I went ahead, and so this is a club of two projects. One was picking up the voice and tone as well as the email,
Yeah.
right? So in this, basically, what I ideally, I'll not get you through the whole thing, but ideally the idea was to basically come up as a value or having a value proposition about what Qbolt does,
Yeah.
uh, and, and how does our essays talk to different people and all those things. What we did, we just understood what are the adjectives that we can pick up as a brand. That is like how we have talked about it as helpful, positive, confident, informative, and experience.
Right.
Uh, and what are the guidelines that we can use when we are talking about anything in the company? It has to be simple, it has to be human, it has to be considered contextual in sense. And the rest of it was just UI guidelines that we can use. So once we were done with this as a basics, we went ahead and started making changes on the email that looked something like this, like how a general email actually looks like right now, to something, you know more elaborative, and what does email could look like as in a welcome gesture, to having concise CTAs at right point of time. Like the user just needs to go and click on it. That's it. That's the whole task over there. But we also need to make sure that we are crisp enough to make him understand that what exactly this email is all about, right?
Right.
So yeah, so these were like a couple of emails that got redesigned and all those things. So I think that's the whole process of the whole project in this case.